Welcome one, welcome all to another a long time installment. I'm here on this is the Wrestling Matters podcast episode, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a very sad one, unfortunately. Yeah, it's a very sad one. I'm also going to explain the Wrestling Matters podcast, what the state is of it, because I've been focused on my illness and everything. Well, I wouldn't say I'm that ill. I'm still here. I'm still capable, but I've had some mental issues. My mental health has not been very good. I'll explain later. I'll explain during the podcast. So yeah, the podcast is coming back, ladies and gentlemen, but more on that later. I want to discuss the one, the only Terry Gene Bollea, aka Mr. Hulk Hogan, as well. Yes, unfortunately, just as I was about to do GMW, I got the word that he passed away. Yeah, it was cardiac arrest, heart attack. Yeah, it's a very sad day because we lost Ozzy the other week. Not long lost Ozzy, and now Hulk Hogan is no longer with us. The man that made wrestling what it is today, no matter what you say about him, all the good stuff, all the bad stuff and everything, mostly the bad stuff, all the moronic stuff, using creative control cards and everything. It's a very sad day for the wrestling business.
3 weeks ago, I decided...
Knowing that he's no longer with us. And yet, Hulkamania. Hulk Hogan is the whole reason I watch professional wrestling. If it wasn't for Hogan, I wouldn't know what a wrist lock is, or an arm wrist, or an arm bar is. He's the whole reason I watch wrestling. From that match I watched when I was a kid, the first Hulk Hogan match that I watched when I was a kid, good grief. That first Hulk Hogan match I watched when I was a kid, good lord. I signed a lifetime contract to be a wrestling fan, pretty much. I saw the match, saw him win, and I'm like, done. And it went on from there as well. My very first show, very first pay-per-view that I ever watched, main big show. I used to watch like Superstars and stuff like that and see him on that as well and stuff like that back in the day, in the early 80s, late 80s, early 90s. But the very first show that I ever watched, the very first pay-per-view or PLE that I ever watched was SummerSlam 91. And that is actually on the YouTube channel as well. That was my very first show when Bret won the Intercontinental Championship for the first time and he was stuck in the main event with Warrior. And come to find out that it was Warrior's last, well, I wouldn't say Warrior's last match, but Warrior got fired from that, so... as well, and also being able to get the videotapes that I did back in the day and catch up and see Hogan first match on man Randy Savage back in the day and become WWF champion. The great match he had with the Warrior in WWF as well in 1990 as well. Less said about that the better. As far as the rematch goes in 98 at least, but less said about the people talk more about the first match than they do the second match. And also WrestleMania 8 when he said goodbye and left for Sid. Lo and behold, he left WWF because he didn't want to be a part of the steroid scandal that was going on with Vince McMahon at the time. And then he came back 1 year later and was part of a tag team with Brutus Beefcake. And then he did the ultimate thing. He left for WCW. Well, he left for a bit, because he went to do Thunder in Paradise. I used to see him in Mr. Nanny. Seeing Hulk Hogan in that tutu, Blumenack. And there was Suburban Commando as well, can't forget that. And then he changed WCW. He made WCW what it was. I mean, I can go through all the stuff in WWF, what he did, the Andre, the body slam and all that stuff. He upped the ante when he went to WCW. He went to WCW, gave them identity, because before Bischoff got out of WCW couldn't even draw a dime. They were losing money more than they were printing it. And Bischoff came in, got Hogan. Hogan came on board, and it just changed. First 2 years, he had matches with Flair. He had matches with Sting on Nitro as well. He had Vader, Big Van Vader as well. Who else was there? The Dungeon of Doom and stuff like that. And then in '96, the whole landscape of Hogan switched and changed forever. Because he went from Hulk Hogan, red and yellow, to Hollywood with the NWO as well. And that's when the NWO came in, and we all know the NWO got watered down eventually, but it had Hogan, Hall and Nash. And even though there was a talk about Sting, because Hogan was in two minds about doing it at first, but it had to be Hogan. Hogan changed the landscape and changed the parameters of WCW, and became what he was. And then the bad parts is when he left in 2000 after the Bash at the Beach. That's on the channel as well. That's on the WCW YouTube channel as well. You might want to go and check that out. Bash at the Beach 2000, which was insane. But yeah, there was all this good stuff as well. And like I said, forget about the Ultimate Warrior 98 rematch from 1990 as well. He changed the landscape, and the NWO changed the business as well, just like he did in 1990, in the early 80s, early 90s. He changed the business. I always get to thinking of what could have been in WWE, because he even mentioned it in an interview himself, that during that Warrior run in the match with the Warrior in 1990, he wanted to turn heel. We could have had Hollywood Hogan in WWF in 1990, but we didn't, because Vince was too up his own you-know-what about merchandise and everything, especially with Hogan and the Warrior back then, even though the Warrior thing didn't work, or tend to not work, or not work as it had planned. But yeah, it was what they call it. It was what's his face? Hogan. It was all leading back to Hogan. That's why I say the John Cena was the modern day Hulk Hogan, because if you can't find your way, you look for Cena. And WWE couldn't find their way back then, especially with the Warrior, because the Warrior, the plan for the Warrior was him to replace Hogan, but it didn't work. So what did Vince do? He ended up going back to Hogan again, and that's what happened in '91. But he won the belt back in '91 and became WWF champion, and then it all led to the Royal Rumble '92, which is still the greatest Royal Rumble ever in people's opinions, and in mine as well, because you can probably look at that roster of the 30 men in the Rumble, and about a good 90% of them are in the friggin' Hall of Fame. So, and yeah, it was. If it wasn't for Hogan, I wouldn't be a wrestling fan today, and it's very sad that this man is dead. And we could still play and live in the memories of Hogan with the WWE stuff as well, and he's now on WWE. He's probably going to be on WWE games going forward. I don't know what the decision is on that yet as well, but he'll probably be in every WWE game unless they decide to take him out. Yes, there was the steroid stuff and all the other racist mumbo jumbo as well, but all that stuff. I mean, he didn't kill anyone, let's just say that, but all that stuff aside, he was the man that the whole reason I watch professional wrestling to this day. The whole reason I watch professional wrestling to this day, and it's very difficult to know that the greatest man, the man who made wrestling what it is today, is no longer with us as well. I just wish he had some of the matches and he wasn't so up his own you-know-what at times, with his ego and that. I don't know what the whole situation was, but there was a chance for him at one point to wrestle Stone Cold Steve Austin. I would have went bankrupt on that motherfucker, let me tell you. But yeah, it was just seeing that, man. I mean, I just wish they would have allowed that or something. It would have been epic. That would have been the main event. It's just itself, Hogan and Austin. That would have been the main event just itself. And apparently that was meant to happen in WrestleMania 18, but Hogan went with The Rock instead. And we all know what happened to Austin. So yeah, Hogan was the face of WWE. He was the face of Saturday Night's Main Event. He was the face of WrestleMania. You know, I mean, I can go through the first 9 main events right now. Hogan with him and Mr. T versus Piper and Orndorff at WrestleMania 1. King Kong Bundy in WrestleMania 2. Andre in 3. He was part of that tournament in WrestleMania 4, the tournament to crown a new WWF champion. WrestleMania 5, he fought Macho Man. WrestleMania 6, Warrior. 7, Slaughter. Even though it wasn't meant to be Slaughter, but it was Sergeant Slaughter anyway. WrestleMania 8, Sid. And then WrestleMania 9, he was in the tag match. Even though it wasn't the main event, or was a part of the main event, he was part of the tag team with him and Beefcake against Money Incorporated. And then he went to WCW and changed their parameters as well. And, you know, and changed WCW, whether you like him or not, considering what he did, you know, with the Sting saga in '97 and everything. But he gave WCW identity. He made WCW legit. He legitimized WCW, and he made it all in there as well. Less said about his TNA stuff, the better. You know, I probably think he ruined TNA for me, and that's sad to say. You know, he pretty much ruined TNA. Well, him and Bischoff did anyway, and then he ended up coming back to WWE and everything. And even the whole NWO angle for WWE in 2001, 2002, that went to shit as well, pretty much, because people just kept on cheering him. They wanted to see the red and yellow. I mean, he was meant to be a heel, and he fought The Rock at WrestleMania, and blooming heck, you know, they just cheered him out the building and booed The Rock. I think that might have been a case if WrestleMania 18 wasn't in Canada. If WrestleMania 18 wasn't in Canada, I don't know. They could have cheered him elsewhere as well if WrestleMania 18 wasn't in Canada. But I believe it was in Canada. I mean, Hogan pretty much, to my knowledge at least, he lost every match he had in Canada. Warrior, Rock, and I believe he had a match with Jacques Rougeau at one point on a house show when he was Hollywood Hogan as well. He lost that in Canada too, because Jacques Rougeau is a Canadian hero just like Bret was. So, yeah. But I don't know. Like I said, Canada was always his kryptonite when it came to having matches and wrestling, and but yeah, rest in peace. As you can see, Hulkamania lives with me, and I wore this just for this video. And I don't know, if you can, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. What's your thoughts in the comments? What is your memories of Hogan? What is your bad memories of Hogan? What didn't you like about Hogan? What you respected about Hogan as well? Give me your comments in the description box below, or in the comments below on this channel as well. This will be going up on my Wrestling Matters YouTube channel as well. So, yeah, and this is, like I said, it's part of Wrestling Matters podcast. Right. But yeah, rest in peace, Hogan. Love him or hate him, he will be missed. Also, the Wrestling Matters podcast is coming back as well. I'm bringing it back. I'm going to start doing some recordings on it within the next month or two. So I'm just going to talk wrestling on here. I'm going to take some stuff and write some stuff down on here, on the notes and everything, and just talk about it and give them my opinions and everything on here as well. So we'll see what happens and to see how that goes from this point on, because I think I've figured some stuff out, and I'd like to put it to the test to see how it works. So we will see on that. So yeah, Wrestling Matters podcast is coming back to this channel, guys. So stick around on this channel, like, share, and subscribe. And There'll be more like wrestling talk. It's going to be a once a week thing as well. We're going to go back to Mondays like we used to, so it'll be a once a week thing. I don't know when it's going to start, but I'll let you guys know. Like I said, I'll let you guys know in due time. I don't know if I'll start it in August. I'll probably aim for November, beginning of beginning of September. So roundabout beginning of September. Wait a minute, what's my status on that? So what's the beginning of September? So we're doing July now, as I'm recording this. August, yeah, September 1st. I'm aiming it for September 1st. We'll do it. We'll probably put it up for September 1st. So from that point on, from the Monday, as well, that will be going all the way through. So Monday, September 1st. There may be some bonus ones in the mix of all of that, but the schedule will be up for starting September 1st. We'll do it for September 1st. So I've got a bunch of recordings to do, going all the way through until hopefully December. So as well. So yeah. So look out for that, guys. All the good stuff as well. Content creation is key. And yes, rest in peace, Hogan. You will be missed. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Starting September 1st, unless there's something I want to do beforehand as well, but the schedule starts September 1st. So see you then, guys. Peace.